Hello, everybody. This is Yurika, and today's topic is going to be something really exciting and interesting at the same time. Well, firstly, the topic name is going to be How and Will Your Launch Idea Work? Okay, so this blog post is basically for people who are launching their business idea into the world because we've got to validate whether this idea is going to work or not, right? And before I get started, for those of you who don't know me, I come from a place called New Zealand, and in New Zealand, I work as a web project manager for a lot of blue chip companies. And throughout my journey, it has been amazing to learn some of the internet marketing strategies from experts and gurus to be able to simplify my life as well, because the way I was earning my money was not something that I wanted to do in the long term. And this is my initiative to be able to help you if you are in that situation where you're making good money, but at the same time you want to start something by yourself. How do you launch your idea into the world without having a lot of expenses and without knowing whether it's going to work or not? So with that, let's get started. So the first mistake that we have to avoid, and this is a huge thing, and I want you to listen really carefully, is that most of us as entrepreneurs, we spend most of our time in this quadrant, which is 80% we take to create stuff. That when I talk about creating, that means creating our blogs, creating content for our website, creating different business processes, trying to learn new techniques, trying to learn about advertising. That the whole time we are just trapped in this circle. And then we realize that we've got to do something, and then we move to the next circle, which is we spend only 20% of our time promoting the amazing work that we create. All right. And that's when frustration kicks in. But what good marketers, good successful business entrepreneurs do is they follow a minimalist path. And when I talk about minimalism here, it's about focusing on what's really going to give you value, what's going to create momentum for your business so that you can add value into other people's lives. And what do? They actually focus on this circle first, which is they spend 80% of their time promoting the amazing work that they have to offer to their target audience. And they spend 20% of their time creating stuff within their business. So initially, what do? They first create something really small, and then they spend 80% of their time to build momentum by promoting their existing offers, by reaching out to people to promote their amazing work, and spending whatever the money that they have to spend. Instead of spending it into creation, they spend it into promotion. And if we get this one step right, you will see that your launch idea can actually make things work for you. So I'll go through the steps that experts and people who have built successful businesses actually practice, so that you can also do the same. Basically, when I first started, this is the tangent that I went on, all right? I would create a blog post twice each week. And I would spend a lot of time and put in all my effort after I came back from my full-time job to be able to do this. And I would get really excited. But then I would get really depressed at the same time because no one would read these blog posts, and I would write so much of good content, and to see that no one's actually appreciating this, no one's actually commenting, no one's liking it, it can actually bring you down. All right. And then I would think, oh, maybe my offer on my opt-in page is not that good. So I would go back and then start trying to create free offers. So I would get stuck into these two areas. And I'm sure if you're starting out, you're going through these same fears of, I have to build something, I have to create something of immense value, that we get stuck just writing stuff over here. Then I learned that maybe I have to promote it, so that 20% of my time I would go and post a few things on my Twitter profile, or I would post it on my Facebook page and hope that someone is going to click on that link and come to my website, put their email address, and get the offer. and it was not the way things were happening for me. And it was really, really frustrating. Then I thought, okay, everyone's talking about advertising, so probably I need to do that. So the little money that I would have after I've already paid all my bills, I would take that amount and I would try to advertise. And that advertising budget of mine, because I used to spend so much of my time trying to have a graphic designer create really pretty pictures for me, to be able to have really nice looking PDF documents, I would spend my money here. So the advertising budget used to be very less. And so with the little advertising budget that I would have, my stats were not showing me the return on investment. And so I would try and, minimize my advertising costs and still do the same old blunder of creating stuff rather than focusing on advertising and promotions. And then obviously you do get into that phase where you think, everyone else is talking about these huge $1 million companies and this huge amount of money and these viral videos that keep going left, right, and center. And why can't you do it? What's happening? Why is it not working for you? When in your traditional professional job, you are actually nailing it, but all you want is to be able to have that peace of mind to do something by yourself and live the life that you want. And I totally get you if you are in this space. But we have a choice. We have a choice to either keep working hard and doing the same old things, or we have the chance to say, all right, let me try and work a little bit smarter to reach my target audience who are actually looking for my service by focusing on promoting my existing offers. Let's just stop and just look at what we have created in our businesses, or what you have an idea. Let's actually focus on creating something really small and promoting it so that you know exactly where to tweak things within your business. And that is working smarter. So this is the map that most minimalist entrepreneurs focus on. And when I talk about minimalist entrepreneurs, these are entrepreneurs who are very, very successful, but have a focused plan on how to make their business rock. All right. The first step that most people do who are really successful is that they build a base framework for their business. That means the bare bones that are required to create the structure in their business. The second step is that they create a free offer. All right. So the first step is to create a base. So the base could be a basic website. The next is to be able to create a free offer. And here, when they talk about free offer, they create something really small, but that has immense value. And we'll go through what immense value and how do you create this offer really works. All right. Then they spend 80% of their time promoting this free offer and their base framework. So they spend most of the time in this section. All right. And finally, after they have promoted their free offer using their base framework, they then focus on selling their first offer. Because till you actually get to this step, you can't know if it's going to work. Right? So we can either spend the next 6 months just focusing on this and this, or we can spend the next 1 to 2 months focusing on creating this and focusing most of our time in promoting the strategy, promoting our free offer to be able to come to this step, so that then we can repeat this whole section all over again. So there are 8 steps that we're going to go through in this video, and let's take a pen and paper because it is going to create immense value. You're going to have a checklist at the end of this video so that you can start launching your first idea with full confidence, because you know that you can do this. All right. So the first step, and most people who are even watching this are going to avoid it. And I hope that you trust me as a friend and you take the time. I'm not telling you to take the next 1 month. I'm telling you to take just about 15 minutes to focus on this step. Because without step 1, no matter what you do with the remaining steps, you will not be able to reach your goal. All right. And I myself did not do this step when I first started, and I suffered for it for at least 1 to 2 years. 1 to 2 years, that's a long, long time. And most successful gurus, most successful books talk about learning this first step. So I want you to pause this video, take the time, take 3 minutes, and ask yourself, how do you want to live your life? And this is not a big, huge exercise. Rather, it's about when you wake up in the morning, how do you want to feel? When you're having your breakfast, where do you want to have your breakfast? When you wake up with your loved ones, what do you want to say to them? When you're going to work, what kind of work do you want to do? When you actually come home and you're relaxing, what are the activities that you want to do? All right. When you look at your bank account, how much do you require on a monthly basis to feel happiness? Do you always want to go to work trying to pay the bills? Or do you actually want to go to work so that you can contribute, you can enable, and at the same time make money? These are questions that you've got to answer. I can't help you here. If I wish I could. I wish anyone could. And I would, refer you to them. But this is something that you know for yourself. All right. So please do this. The second is, what is the reason? Why do you want to launch your idea into the world? What is the reason? Of course, if you say it's not about the money, you are lying to yourself. Because if it was not to be able to have the freedom to do the things that you want, you would not go out there and spend so much of time on blogs, learning strategies of how to make your business work. So you've got to be truthful to yourself. And I hope that you will actually take the time and not just keep forwarding this video, because this is really, really crucial. All right? Don't miss this step. And I trust that you're going to do this exercise. The second step is, how much money do you require on a monthly basis? And you've got to be realistic about this, because you're launching your business for the first time. Maybe you want to be able to cover your advertising costs, or maybe you want to cover the basic bills like your utility bills, like your electricity, your internet bills, your mobile bills, your software, your computer. Maybe these are some of the things that you want to focus on in the first few months in your business. So be realistic of how much of dollars do you require on a monthly basis to feel happy and to feel motivated to keep moving your business forward. Then from there, obviously, you've got to also address the time, okay, that you can dedicate for your business, because some of us are actually having full-time jobs and we're trying to build a business, and I totally get you if you're there, and I respect you for even making a change in your life. And then obviously some of us already have an existing business, but it's not generating the sales that we expected, so we are trying to make the business work, and at the same time we need to have a little bit of time to spend with our family, and at the same time have a little bit of time to restructure our business so that it works for us and we are not working for our business. So it's crucial that you address whatever the time that you have. Maybe it's 15 hours in a week. Put it down, because then you have to, when you know how much of time you require, when you know the dollar value that you require to generate on a monthly basis, you can now focus on exactly what the steps are to launch your first idea into the world and make it happen. All right? Then comes step 4, and step 4 is really, really crucial. Now here, when I talk about having a basic website, it's not about having fancy graphics. Rather, it's about having really good few components within your website that are going to work for you. All right? And we've got to focus on what you're wanting to deliver. So that is, when the person comes to your website, they know exactly what you're going to be delivering to them. You want to be able to make sure that they know about you as a person or as an organization, and that you have given them a few ways to be able to be in touch with you. Right? So that is what I mean by a basic website. Also make sure that you've set up your Google Analytics, because then you can actually figure out what pages are converting and what pages you need to work on. So it's very, very important that you have your Google Analytics set up. Now, even though you might have a basic website, if you're trying to launch your new idea, I would suggest that you have a separate landing page with an opt-in for this particular service or the free offer that you're going to be delivering when people want to know more about this particular launch that you're having. All right. And to create your opt-ins, there are different kind of softwares that are, web applications that are available, one of which is Aweber and one is MailChimp. MailChimp allows you to have an email database of at least, I think, 2,000 people, and it's for free. And Aweber charges for right from the start, but it's a very small fee, but it has its own advantages as well. So make sure you're having a separate landing page with an opt-in. All right. Then for your website and for this landing page, make sure you have your disclaimer page and your policy page, because it's really important, especially if you're going to be advertising and promoting your website or your offer, that you have these two pages at the footer of your website. And then, of course, for your basic website, make sure you also have an about page. All right. Now, once you have your separate landing page with an opt-in, when they have put in their email address and their name, for example, and they click the sign up today, then you want to prepare at least 3 to 4 pieces of really good content. And it doesn't matter what the format is, whether it's video, whether it's a PDF document, whether it's just a podcast, or whether you're just going to be sending them emails. All right. Don't worry about this, what the format is going to be. Just make sure you've got 3 to 4 really good pieces of content. And in the following videos, whenever I launch or post on my blog, I'll make sure that I cover the value of copywriting and what are the areas within copywriting that you have to be focused on. But for this, let's just follow the steps that you need to have your basic website, your Google Analytics, a separate landing page. This is very important, that you have an About Us page for your website, a disclaimer page and a policy page for your landing page, as well as for your basic website, and then the 3 to 4 pieces of content. All right. From there, we move on to step 5. And it is really, really useful to create a survey for your pre-launch. And you can create your own survey, but there is a science behind how to create a good survey. But I will go through this in my following posts. But for now, you can always look on the internet to find out what kind of surveys other experts or bloggers have posted in the past, so that you can actually tailor it to your own service. So make sure that you have a survey that you're sending out to the people who are interested in your pre-launch, so that you're knowing your customer and you're going to be delivering based on your survey. And then obviously you want to set up your autoresponder email messages. So once they have gone and signed up in here, when they've put in their details and they click the sign up today, these 3 to 4 pieces of content are going to be basically autoresponders, okay, that you're going to be creating in advance, so that you're not freaking out once you've got a sign up. So the autoresponders that you've got to make sure that are already in place are your confirmation email. So once they have signed up, that you want to request your target audience to confirm the email address, so that you can send them the content or the 3 to 4 pieces of content. The second email that you have to create is a welcome email, along with your survey link, requesting them to answer a survey, plus you give them the first piece of content. Now, some will actually answer the survey and some won't. That doesn't matter, but make sure that this is the format for your second email. Your third email is obviously going to have your second piece of content, but make sure you also put the survey link, so that in case they have forgotten to do it over here, possibly they might actually build that rapport with you over here, that they might take the time to fill in the survey. And in your third piece, your third email is going to be about your third piece of content, along with your survey link, before you can actually offer the offering that you have, which is your first product. All right. So please write this down, so that you know these are the steps that you have to do in your autoresponder. And this autoresponder might not be available in MailChimp, which is the free version, where you can set it up automatically. But in Aweber, this is possible, where you can create this information right from the start. I'm not sure about MailChimp because I don't use it, but please check before you sign up for MailChimp if this facility is available. Then from there on, we go to step 6, which is we simultaneously, while we have created our 3 to 4 pieces of content, we make sure that we have the copy created for our sales page. Now, a lot of us struggle to create the copy for our sales page, and I totally get you, but this is not about trying to come up with the best possible sales page. Initially, even if you have to write it, and even if it might be not the right conversion for your sales page, at least have a sales page ready. And at the same time, then later on, you can always outsource it, because we want to start the first trigger, which is to be able to promote your landing page so that you can get traffic who are going to put in their email address, so you know how many people are actually interested, for you to be able to send your free offer, which is your 3 to 4 pieces of content. And during that time, obviously, you're going to be creating your sales page copy. There is a way for you to outsource this if it's required, but initially, if you're starting out by yourself, I would suggest just create a sales page. I know it might not be the best, but at least you have the base framework for your business set up. All right. Once you have set up your sales page, make sure you also have the buy now button. And for the buy now button, you can always sign up with a payment processor like PayPal if you're just starting out. But if you have been in business and you already know about shopping carts and so forth, then obviously you can go with the merchant that that you prefer. But I'm just addressing this for people who are just starting out. I think PayPal does a really good job. So and it's pretty much free. You don't have to sign up for a monthly fee initially. So make sure your sales page has a buy now button using PayPal, for example. Then from there, we move on to, once you've created your sales copy, you've put in your buy now button, then make sure you've created a page which is a thank you page. That means if someone buys from you, then at least you're sending them automatically to a thank you page, thanking them for purchasing from you. And also create your first email to be received by your paid customer. Now, this first email could be exactly the download link for them to be able to download what they have just purchased, or it could be basically that you have got a consultation with this person and you're sending them the first email notifying them when they're going to have that consultation with you. Or it could be that you've created a training program and you're sending them the first email with their welcome, letting them know what exactly they're going to be expecting, and maybe the first link for the first week module. All right, whatever it is, make sure that you have this already set up. Also, then we are going to be focusing purely on promotion. And when you're first starting out, if you don't have a huge email list, it becomes really tricky as to where are you going to get these people from. And I would suggest to actually use paid advertising, especially if you don't have any rapport with other people who have huge lists who are willing to promote your offer initially without knowing about your conversion rates. So the best way to go about it is actually use a little bit of your budget to do paid advertising, so you can see what is working within your business and what's not working within your business. How many people are answering your survey questions? What are the responses that you're receiving from your survey questions? And you have control over this, right? Because now you're not waiting for people to just hopefully click on a link. You have control, because you're going to be spending most of your time trying to promote through paid advertising by tweaking your adverts to convert. All right. And the best way to go about this is to look at previously where people in your niche have advertised and how they've advertised, and looking and saying, how can I structure my advertisements the similar way when you're starting out? Of course, you can get really technical and really strategic later on, but we are focusing on making sure that you're launching your free offer so that you can start recognizing what's going to work and what's not going to work. And all you're going to do is you're going to use that budget and Currently, I think a lot of people have been focusing on Facebook marketing, and Google AdWords and Pinterest. Now, there are a lot of ways you can advertise, but use the advertisement method that is going to get you the best results. And at the moment, everyone talks about Facebook having a very low cost but a good conversion rate. So see if your target audience is currently on Facebook. See if other people within your niche are on Facebook, and how is the momentum on their pages, so that you can use your efforts in the most practical manner. And I would suggest to divert your paid advertising to your pre-launch opt-in page. That's the separate landing page that you have created with your opt-in, which is your name and email address, not onto your home page. Direct them to the landing page. From there, we go to step 8, which is your long-term strategy. So while all this is happening, first focus on finishing off till step 7, and then start looking to say, who can I partner with so I can have a few guest posts or interviews with these people, so that I can attract more traffic to my website. But this is long term. Don't try and focus on this on day one, because you've got to prove some results before someone is going to say, okay, I'll interview you, I'm ready to promote your service. It's all well and good if you have connections, but if you're starting out and you don't have connections, make sure that you keep this into your strategy for your promotions. All right. And always every day, even if it was just one hit, make sure you're monitoring your conversion rate. Even if you start advertising on Facebook or YouTube or Pinterest, make sure you're looking at what's converting, what's not converting. How many dollars is it taking for you to get a like, or how many dollars is it taking for you to get an email address into your email marketing tool. Make sure you're always focusing on your conversion rates. Initially, it'll be a little bit depressing, but that's okay, because you have started the process to be able to build a business with focus. And you only build your product, okay? You only focus on building your product when you have your first paying client. It is really important that you don't go first and build your product without knowing if anyone's interested in your product. The day you get a paying client, you might even give it to them at a discounted rate, so that you're building the product with them and delivering value to them at the same time. But don't spend your time initially without getting momentum in your business. It's really, really important. And what I've done is I've included a checklist. So there will be a link at the bottom of this video, or I guess if you are looking at this on a Facebook, it'll be a link at the top of my status message. Please take the time to download this checklist and go through all the steps that I've spoken about. The checklist will look similar to this, and it gives you each and every step that you have to focus on, so that you are ticking off the tasks that you have to do before you launch your business online. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this post. I hope that it's going to help you in launching your business. Do not doubt yourself, because you are in control. You know the steps that it's going to take for you to launch your idea into the world. And don't get upset if you don't have a lot of emails, all right? Initially, it is about creating the base framework for your business. I do actually blog at minimalistentrepreneur.com. So if you feel that these posts are going to be useful to you, please go to minimalistentrepreneur.com. Put in your name and your email address, so that we can be in touch with each other. Sometimes I do have free consultation with a few people, and whenever I have the time, to be able to help you launch your business in a minimalist way. And I also have a program that walks you step by step, right from what you require on a monthly basis, what kind of tools you require, what are the steps that you have to take, how do you create your content, how do you basically market your services in the right way based on your own personality. But I do also send out really good free posts for people who are starting out so that you can actually start your journey, because there's no point in procrastination. Alrighty, with that, I'll end this video. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking the step to create something in your life. I wish you all the very best. I wish you and your family success, wealth, happiness, and health. Take care, keep smiling, believe in yourself, and we'll touch base soon. If you like this video, please do share it with your friends on Facebook or YouTube. If you do feel that this is going to add value in someone else's life, please do share it with someone else. But more importantly, take action today. Take care. It's Zurika from A Minimalist Entrepreneur signing out. Bye-bye.